from a low life, but now people call me the king. Tearing it up with every lyric that I bring to the table. Because I'm willing and able, I'm in more homes than Comcast cable. I got the skill that'll rattle your brain. I'm a threat like Saddam Hussein, everybody know my name. Joe Habib's a top soldier, kid they should have told you, you really need to pack a lunch. My words hit hard just like a Tyson punch, so give me a chance, I bet you I can make you dance. Show me your girl, I bet you I get in her pants. I'm breaking egos and money is what I'm stacking. Joe Habib on the mic, you know I'm down for action. Shout out to Make Beats Sir and the Beat Smith and the whole Rope a Dope radio crew. Yeah.
All right. You guys read the title. You already know what we're going to talk about here. And the reason why I'm making this video is because of all of the opinions coming in from social media and some of the recent tweets that I've been seeing. And also a major reason why I'm doing this video is because of a recent tweet by Stephen Espinosa. But I'm going to first start off this video by saying, you know, I'm hearing a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, innocent until proven guilty, right? Let the process play out. Again, I agree with all those things. But when information gets put out there, you do have what's called the court of public opinion. And, you know, look at that phrase and that sentence real closely. And look at the last word of that phrase or sentence. What is it? It's opinion. So by having an opinion, right? By having an opinion based off of the information or quote unquote evidence, however you want to call it, by having an opinion, that in no way, shape, or form says that we are saying, or at least I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I am not saying that the legal process should not play out here. I mean, my opinion is not going to stop that one way or the other. So because you don't like my opinion, and then you want to present that straw man argument to me and make that deflection, it really means nothing. You should just come out and stop camouflaging your true meaning, and what, you know, come right out and say what you really want to say with me. Beep, your opinion hurts me in some way because I am emotionally attached to the person that you have this opinion about, right? So I have to respond in an emotional way and make a straw man argument because that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. Again, the court of public opinion. Anytime someone is charged with something and evidence is put out there, people are going to look at that evidence. They're going to look at that information. They're going to look at patterns of behavior. They're going to look at footage. They're going to look at all those things, and then they're going to formulate their own opinion. Just like a juror is going to do if this case goes to trial and gets put in front of a jury. Right? So I'm not doing anything different than a juror would do. And, you know, you could argue, well, Beeb, you're not going to have all the information that their juror has. Okay, well, again, this is not an official court. This is the court of public opinion. If you want to argue, Beeb, well, you know, I disagree with your analysis of the situation. Beeb, you know, there's information that's being put out there. How do you know it's not, you know, you can criticize that. You can question anything you want. That's fine. But this whole thing about, oh, well, you know, everyone is convicting Tank. He's guilty. He's guilty. You know, in everyone's mind, you know, we're not giving him the due process. What happened to due process? Listen, due process will be played out here. No one's opinion is going to stop that. So just like we're not going to stop the due process, just admit you don't like our opinions if you're a Tank fan or if you're on the side of Tank, and you know you want to silence us because you don't like what we're saying, right? So let's get to the bottom of this. I suspect very strongly Tank did put his hands on this woman, right? I have a hard time just not looking at that video footage of Tank at that celebrity basketball game, just putting his hands around that woman's neck, whether it was his girl, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was his girlfriend or whoever it was, but he did it with such a high level of normalcy. He was in a public place with tens of thousands of people, or at least thousands of people watching him. There's videos all over the internet of him doing that, right? So the amount of people that were able to see that, right? So I'm looking at that and I'm seeing him just grab that lady by the neck and lifting her up off that seat, that chair, and dragging her out of the arena in front of everyone, right? And he did it with such a comfort level, like this is like it's like going to the refrigerator and grabbing a soda out of the fridge. Like this is something like waking up in the morning, brushing my teeth. Like it was such, did it with such a degree of normalcy, as I said. Like this was just like a walk in the park. There's not, this is like a normal occurrence in a day of the life of Tank Davis, right? And this is with everybody watching, right? So I'm saying to myself, if he can do that in public, right? And there have been other allegations and claims about that, right? If he could do that in public so freely and so nonchalantly, without a care in the world doing that, right? Imagine what he would do in the privacy of his own home. He doesn't deny that an argument broke out, and it seemed as though an argument broke out there in that incident. And then, he admittedly said that he had an argument with whoever the woman was in the home, right? So we already saw, with thousands of people, tens of thousands of people watching, how he reacts when he has a disagreement, dispute, or argument with the woman. We already seen it firsthand. He was visibly upset with that woman. There was a dialogue. It looked like he was arguing with that woman, right? Put his hands around that woman's neck, lifted her up out of that chair, and dragged her out of that arena where that celebrity basketball game was being played. Right? Did it like it was nothing. Did it like it was, like it's something that he did, like he does every day, like taking a walk down the street. You know what I'm saying? It just looked like this is who he is. This is what he does. And he made no qualms about it. Like he was very comfortable doing that in that setting, right? So I'm saying to myself, if that's how he responds to an argument in public, once again, not to sound redundant, how is he going to respond to an argument in private? Probably even worse. So I think that circumstantial evidence, people are saying, oh, well, that's different than this. No, I don't think it is. It's the situations are extremely similar. It's not like, a guy was caught slapping a girl's ass, in public, and then another girl saying, oh, he raped me. Those are two different things. But putting your hands around a woman's neck and choking her and lifting her up off a chair and dragging her out of there by her hair, and then being accused of slapping a woman with a closed fist, those are extremely similar things there. So, you can say what you want. And I did make a statement about the other incident that he had, the hit and run. I guess there's 14 felony charges. He's already being charged with that. From what I understand, he's already got to go to court for that. And then the woman in the car, the pregnant woman in the car that he hit, she was crying. She was pretty much hysterical in that car. And she said that He made eye contact with her and just looked her straight in the eye, and then he turned around and just drove off like he didn't even care. And I looked at that and I said to myself, this man has just no regard for women. He doesn't care about women. Not only that, I mean, it could have been anyone in there, but the fact that it's a woman in there. Again, I have some traditional values when it comes to men and women, right? And you can disagree with this, and you can even say, "Beeb, this is a straw man or whatever. This is a deflection where I'm going with this," but I'm going to lay it out there. And you can make an argument that a hit and run has nothing to do with an assault charge. Fair enough. I'll concede the point. But let me explain myself here, right? And I'm going to tie it all together, right? So the reason why I bring this up, and I loop this in, and obviously this is not going to be able to be. It's not going to be a a big vocal a focal point, I should say. It's not going to have any bearing on the assault case, I should say, to say it in simplistic terms. But for me, it just shows and speaks to Tank's character, because as men, I believe we're supposed to be protectors of women, right? So if you see a woman in a vulnerable position like that or situation, right? Instinctively, as a man, a real man would try to protect that woman, save that woman from distress. Like if you see a man beating on a woman in public, most men would probably step in and try to break that up and stop that from happening. So you're seeing a woman in that car, right? And she's crying, and she's in a very bad situation, right? Where she's in danger, where she's hurt, right? And you see that and you turn away and you leave. Your role, you're not adhering to your gender roles. We're supposed to help women when they're in situations like that. Our roles, our gender roles in society, which I believe we should have as men, we're there to protect that woman, right? So if you have such little regard for your role as a man in that you're supposed to protect women, right? That shows me that you don't give a shit about women, right? When you see them in a compromised situation like that, and you can just turn away and leave and not try to fix that situation, that makes me look at you in a negative light. And I'm gonna say, from my vantage point and in my opinion, you're a seriously flawed, not only human being, but you're not a real man. You're not a real man. And if you're not going to protect a woman, then you sure as hell have no, in my opinion, you sure as hell will have no problem hitting a woman or being physically abusive to a woman, because you've already taken that gender role out of your mental psyche, and you don't care about protecting a woman. So if you don't want to protect a woman, then you don't care about hurting a woman either. You're not looking at that woman as being, feminine, submissive, creature. You're totally disrespecting that woman, and you're not adhering to your gender roles as the protector. So you don't give a shit. So you'll have no problem hurting her physically, because you don't think, because psychologically you're not wired to protect that woman, right? And you can argue, B, where you're going with this, that has nothing to do. Oh, that's fine. I'll accept that if you feel that way. But that's what I'm saying to myself. So if you don't care about protecting that woman, right? If you don't care about protecting that woman, then you will have no problem hurting that woman too. That's my opinion. I'm not saying it's a fact. That's my opinion. So that just speaks to the character of this person. That's why a lot of times when you're in these cases, a prosecutor will go after someone's character and present that picture to the jury, that because this guy has such a poor character, or this man or woman has such a poor character, it's conceivable and plausible that he would have committed this act, right? So that's Tank to me just seems like that type of person who just has no regard for women. So he would have no problem, in my opinion, doing what he did when I look at all of this pattern of behavior, right? So this whole thing about, innocent until proven guilty, let the due process play out. I am letting the due process play out. There's no way I can stop it. But I also concede, or I will state, I should say, that there's no way you can stop me from having my opinion and other people from having their opinions on this. And if you don't think that some of this behavior doesn't present questions and doesn't make it look like it's very plausible that Tank could have done this. In my opinion, I think he did do it. I think he did, in some way, shape, or fashion, put his hands on that woman. And then people are saying, "Oh, well, she was just screaming and she was acting on the call, and there's babies crying, and there's a baby crying in the background, and she's yelling, 'He's going to kill me! He's going to kill me!' And then people are saying, 'Well, why didn't she give her address? Why didn't she give her address?' How do you know she didn't give her address? And maybe there were, the part of that video that was being put out there, the address was edited out. The person who put that video out there probably edited out the address because they don't want to dox her. They don't want to dox, because if you dox, that's a crime. If you dox somebody, you can't dox somebody. It's a crime. You'd be charged with a crime if you do that, right? So how do we know that? Oh, well, she's just screaming, and when they asked for her address, she didn't put it out? Maybe it was edited out. It's very possible and plausible that was edited out. Whoever uploaded the video. Why wouldn't they? Again, doxing is a crime. Carries a heavy sentence in the United States if you dox somebody. So if she gave her address out, do you think it's going to be put out there? They're not going to put that out there. That video quite possibly could have been redacted. That could have been a redacted version of the video. I believe it was. I mean, they're not going to, anyone who uploads something like that, they're not going to put TMZ. They're smart enough to know they're not going to put that woman's address out there. So you want to let due process play out, all of you, but people who are on the Tank side are accusing that woman of lying. So once again, we have the hypocrisy and the double standard. So you want to believe Tank, right? But you don't want to believe that woman. Automatically, she's lying. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You want me to let the process play out, but you don't want to let the process play out. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but you don't want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Oh, how do you know Tank did that? Well, like I said, I see how freely he did it in public before to another woman with people watching. So is that hard for me to believe that he wouldn't do it in private? I mean, come on, guys. Am I crazy here? And then let's pull Stephen Espinosa and Showtime into this, right? Let's pull Stephen Espinosa and Showtime into this, because this is the main reason why I'm doing this video today, right? Because Mr. Virtue Signaler and Mr. Holier Than Thou, the moral compass of the Twitterverse, Stephen Espinosa, tweets out a day ago, "Stop with the false narrative. That never happened. Showtime didn't cancel his bout. He withdrew. That wasn't Showtime's doing." And this quote is in reference to Rolly Romero, who wasn't arrested, wasn't charged with anything. He was just accused of something. And there was an investigation being done. And they didn't even bring charges against him. And his fight was scrapped. Now, once again, this incident with Tank, with all this other stuff hanging over his head, and then this just adds to it, right? This just amplifies all the negative and controversial things swirling around Tank Davis. This is 10 times worse than anything Rolly Romero was accused of, in my opinion. Because sexual assault is basically, and again, we're not advocating for that, but domestic violence in comparison to sexual assault could be anything. I could put my hand on a woman's shoulder, say, "Hey, baby, you look beautiful today. I'd love to go out with you." Technically, that's sexual assault. I'm not being funny here, but domestic violence is you're putting your hands on a woman and you're assaulting her, right? There's two different things, and in the grand scheme of things, both things are not good. Both things are not good, but quite frankly, Tank's situation is 10 times worse. And then you couple the fact that he actually got arrested and had to bail himself out. It never got to that level with Rolly Romero, right? So let's address this whole thing that Rolly Romero withdrew from this bout, which it wasn't reported that way when the bout was canceled originally, all right? So let's read the quote from Rolly Romero, right? Or the alleged quote from Rolly Romero, because we don't even know if this was his statement or if it was written for him. We don't know any of that, right? So it says, although the allegations against me are totally false, and I will prove that through the legal system, I agree that it is in the best interest of everyone involved that I not participate in the upcoming pay-per-view event, Rolly says. Now, again, my opinion, and that's what we do on here. We express our opinions. No one's saying this is factual. In my opinion, that doesn't sound like something Rolly would say. We've heard Rolly Romero in interviews before. That doesn't really sound like something Rolly would say. But let's just even look past that. He says, I agree that it is in the best interest of everyone involved that I not participate in the upcoming pay-per-view event. Here's the million-dollar question, everybody. Who is Rolly agreeing with? Who told him that it is in the best interest of everyone that I not participate in that event? Who is he agreeing with? Someone must have came to him and said, you should not participate in this event. You should not go through with this fight. We don't want you to go through with this fight. We think you should withdraw from this fight. That's like being pulled into your office and saying, okay, we want you to resign in lieu of termination. And if you don't resign, we're going to fire you. So to me, and again, my opinion, and I think it's very plausible the way this is worded, that he was told, and I'm going to go one step further. Again, my opinion, he was pressured into pulling out of this fight. And I suspect very strongly if he did not pull out of this fight, they were going to cancel it regardless. And then you say, people, he had a contract. Well, again, who knows? They could have pulled a morality clause. They could have done anything. They would have done anything and pulled anything out of the hat. They could have said, well, we didn't think it was morally right for him to go through with this fight with these pending allegations over his head. Whatever the case may be, they were prepared to deal with the situation. And quite frankly, Rolly probably wouldn't have sued them anyways. I don't think, with all the respect, he had the resources to go at them. And the chances that he would have went at them, it's not like Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., where these guys were in a different situation. And if if the BBOC didn't, chose to sanction that fight, they would be able to sue their promoters because once again, different situation, more money on the line. They were in a stronger position based on the circumstances, in my opinion. So they were gonna find a way to scrap this event with Raleigh, one way or the other, in my opinion, because you have to look at this key sentence in this quote. And this is the problem with Stephen Espinosa. He's a lawyer. Again, he respect the fact that he earned his law degree. Sometimes I agree with Stephen Espinosa, sometimes I don't. But I don't always think he's 100% honest, and his intentions are always what he tries to make them seem that they are. I think he's a virtue signaler a lot, and I think he does a lot of double speak, and I think he tries to insult the intelligence of people who he thinks won't do the research, which, no offense, most boxing fans won't do, right? But the key thing is here, I agree that it is in the best interest of everyone involved that I not participate in the upcoming pay-per-view event. Guys, that in itself tells you someone told him to withdraw from this fight. I'm sorry. So Stephen Espinosa wants to, create this narrative, right? That, oh, well, technically, we didn't call off the fight. He withdrew. Again, same example. Mr. Habib, can you come into the office? We want to talk to you for a second. Yes, sir. We would like you to resign in lieu of termination. Well, what do you mean, sir? Well, we want you to resign so it makes us look good, like we didn't fire you and you were the one that left. So it kind of looks better for us because it helps us in the fact that our employee retention rate will look better because it's not like we terminated you. You voluntarily left. So we want you to do that so we look good and we achieve our goal and our motive, right? And I told the person that asked, because again, that's a real situation that happened to me. I was asked to resign in lieu of termination, and I did not. I said, no, I don't want to put a happy face on this. Why am I going to go out of my way, right, to make you look good, right? And then you could say, well, it looks better on your resume that, it looks better on your resume that you resigned and you didn't quit. Yeah, but also you have to look at it like this. If I resign and I want to collect unemployment, how am I going to collect unemployment if I willingly quit? So there's a double-edged sword there, right? And more often than not, if you quit a job, you're gonna try to finagle a bagel with your resume anyways, right? So I said to the guy, with all due respect, sir, I don't want to put a happy face on this. I mean, you don't want me here. You're basically firing me, right? I'm not the one that wants to leave. You want me gone. So why am I gonna quit and leave this job? Go ahead and fire me. I don't want to put my unemployment in jeopardy. Whatever. Oh, don't worry about that. We'll give you a run. No, fuck that. How do I know that? You could easily turn around and say that I quit. Oh, we didn't fire me. Quit. We're not going to pay him unemployment. I worked for a company before that no matter what, anytime someone filed for unemployment, they would challenge it, whether they knew that they were supposed to pay it or not. Regardless of the situation, they challenged every single unemployment claim put against them in the hopes that they would win. Even if they won, 10% of them, that's still helping them out, put money in their pocket. So that's how companies are, man. They're obviously going to try to protect their own interest to make themselves look good. So Showtime wanted to put a happy face on this, and the reason why they did what they did is we want to be a champion for due process. We don't want to step in the way of due process. We believe in innocent and proven guilty. But in the same token, with the Rolly Romero situation, they were worried about the woke mob coming after them. Oh, you're going to let this guy fight with these allegations over it? They didn't want to deal with that. So they wanted to have their cake and eat it too, in my opinion. They wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to be on both sides of it, right? They wanted to make it look like, oh, well, we're not stepping in the way of due process. He himself decided he wanted to withdraw himself. We're not telling him he had to withdraw. We believe in due process. And then if the wokies came after him, oh well, he did the right thing, and we support him in the decision he made for withdrawing himself. He wanted to clear his name. So again, like Steven, stop. Fucking stop, bro. This is a hypocrisy. Well, Beeb, why aren't they telling Tank? Because once again, you know, Raleigh Romero is not the A side. He's not the moneymaker over there. Tank is. And just like when Floyd Mayweather was charged, with domestic violence, and he was convicted of it, and he did the 2 or 3 months in jail. What did the Nevada State Athletic Commission do? They still allowed him to fight, and then and they even delayed his sentence, right? So he could fight, and then after the fight, he went to jail the next day or so, right? So we all know why people do what they do. Money trumps everything. So Tank is one of the money guys over there. He's one of the A-side guys over there. This was the first fight of the year to kick off 2023 for them. They need to create some revenue over there. So obviously, Tank is different than Raleigh, and because of that, he's being judged differently, in my opinion, from the people over at Showtime, right? And the fact that as soon as those allegations came out about Raleigh, it took very little time for that fight to be canceled, right? We don't even know what's going on with this. It looks like the card's going to go on, right? It looks like the card's going to go on, but maybe the main event may be scrapped with Tank. And, you can argue, okay, Beeble, then what are you concerned about? Well, the thing I'm concerned about is, once again, these statements from Stephen Espinosa, this whole situation about how they reacted so quickly and scrapped that Rolly Romero fight so quickly, but now they're dragging their feet on this one, and they've been so conveniently silent on this one. And this situation, as I've said, I don't even think it's debatable. This is significantly worse than Rolly Romero's situation. And this just makes them look bad, in my opinion, because it just shows how hypocritical they are over there. It just shows their double standard over there. It just shows that, anytime from now on, when Stephen Espinosa wants to go out there and virtue signal, we know he's disingenuous. We know he's disingenuous because anyone can be bought, unfortunately, in this world. Everyone has their price, as Ted DiBiase has said, right? So we just got to call this for what it is, man. This is pure hypocrisy. This is pure double standard. And again, if you want to believe that Tank is innocent, that is your right to believe so. If I want to believe Tank is guilty, that's my right. Again, the court of public opinion is just that. It is the court of public opinion. And to me, there's enough circumstantial evidence out there that I honestly believe that this is Tank's normal pattern of behavior. And I don't think this is the first time he's done this. And I think he needs to be punished for this. I think something needs to be done to let Mr. Davis know that this is unacceptable behavior. This is unacceptable behavior. And if you guys want to just, display this high level of cognitive dissonance, right? Which a lot of you on here love to do. You love to do that on here because you want to choose a side, right? And no matter what, you have to just ride it out to the end. You have to ride it out to the end, and you want to ride it out to the end, right? So no matter what Tank does, oh, the girl's lying. Oh, well, what about when this guy did this? What about when this guy did that? I said the same thing about Shakur Stevenson when I saw him hit that woman, right? When there was that fight, right? I don't think I don't think Tory Lanez did it. I have reasonable doubt. I have reasonable doubt. I don't think he did it. That's just my opinion. If I was on that jury, from what some of the evidence that I've heard, I was hearing what went on in that case. That she had lacerations on her foot because she stepped on glass. First she said that that's what happened, and there was a doctor that confirmed that. And then afterwards, she claimed that there were fragments, and then another doctor came and said they were fragments. So the story kept changing in that case. So I'm not saying I believe there's reasonable doubt, and if you have reasonable doubt and you're on that jury, then you can't vote for guilty there. Am I 100% certain he didn't do it? No. I'm about probably, if I'm being honest, I'm about 90% certain he didn't do it because I have reasonable doubt. So to answer your question, Maestro, um, I don't think he did it. If I was to have to make a point on that, I could be wrong, but I don't think he did it. We already, Mr. B Dog, we already went over the due process. Again, this is the court of public opinion, which has no bearing in the true judicial system. It has no bearing in the the real judicial system, the official judicial system. Excuse me, it's a little tongue twister there. So that's the thing, bro. B, what do you think of the evidence Tank is showing us that she put shit on his toothbrush? Again, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, you say opinions don't matter. My opinion is going to have no impact on the outcome of that case. That's a fact. But it's not going to stop me from having an opinion. You know what I'm saying? That's the point I'm trying to make. So when people say, when you have your opinion, this is the court of public opinion, and when the court of public opinion, someone from the court of public opinion says something, and then they're being told, well, why can't you let due process play out? That's a straw man argument. Because once again, the court, the due process is going to be carried out here. It's not going to stop me. I'm open to change my mind if the evidence if evidence is presented to me, right, that he didn't do it. I'm open to change my mind. I'm not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I just can't. I can't get past the fact that he just did it so just he was in that basketball game, and he just with such a high degree of normalcy just grabbed that woman by the throat, choked her, lifted her out of her seat, and dragged her out of there by her hair. Basically, I just can't ignore. I can't ignore that, and he did that in public so freely, right? With such little regard, right? And then I'm listening to that 911 call, and then I'm being told that lady is acting. Like, for what? Why is she acting? Okay, women can be vindictive. They got an argument, maybe. I mean, again, but I don't know, man. Oh, well, when they asked her address, why was it? Again, the person who uploaded that video is not going to allow her address to be broadcast on that video. That is called doxing. It's a very serious offense in America. So obviously that video, to some degree, in my opinion, was redacted. No one's that stupid. TMZ is not that dumb, right? I mean, they've been sued many times, right? They know what they can do and what they can't do. Use your common sense. The cops did go there and arrest him, right? The cops did go there and arrest him. So obviously, at some point in time during that phone call, brainiacs, at some point in time during that phone call, she had to have given her address, or they wouldn't have gotten there. Obviously, they can trace the phone line too. So regardless, they got there, and she knew they were going to get there when you call 911, right? So because that video didn't dox her address, oh well, she just kept yelling, he's going to kill me. Hey, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Stop. Stop, bro. There was enough evidence for them to lock him for them to lock him up. And then everyone likes to oversimplify things, right? A woman can't just call the cops on you and say that you hit her, and if the cops go to the house and there's no evidence that you hit her, everyone thinks automatically that guy's getting locked up. No, there are times, right, where the cop will just say, okay, we don't see anything here, right? Why don't you leave, sir? Why don't you leave? And they ask the guy to leave. It's happened before. I've seen it happen before at parties. OJ, how many times did the cops come to OJ's house and they just left? So this whole thing that automatically the cops just arrest guys, I'm not saying it never happens, but there are times too when a cop will come into a house and they'll look at the situation, and the guy will say, we got in an argument, whatever, and there's no physical injuries on that woman. A lot of times the cops will just leave. They don't always arrest the guy. So let's not just let's be realistic about this. So everyone, they were just going to arrest Tank no matter what. No. They saw evidence. Someone said, I believe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, that her shirt was ripped or some shit like that. And maybe she ripped the shirt itself. Again, I mean, I don't know. Did the girl at the basketball game take Tank's hands and grab Tank's hands and put Tank's hands around her neck? And was she doing a WWE skit? I mean, again, we people are reaching here. They're reaching here. If you're being totally objective, and you're looking at this from an open mind, you have to be saying to yourself, yeah, Tank could have done this. Tank, it looks like Tank has that character, and he's displayed in the past that, yeah, he possibly could have done this. He may have done this. There's strong evidence to suggest in the past that he's the type of person that could have done this based upon his actions in the past and some of the character traits that he's displayed. It's a very erratic guy, right? Very emotional guy, right? Very short-fused guy, very impulsive guy, right? These are all the traits in someone that could do something like this. And again, I just can't ignore that video. I'm sorry. I'm not going to ignore that video, bro. I'm not. Sorry, not. It's just hard for me to just turn the other cheek here and just ignore that video. Turn a blind eye to, that's not this again. Come on, bro. That shows a pattern of behavior. You can do, I hate to keep repeating myself, but if you can do that in public, God knows what you're going to do in private. It's that simple. So due process will be carried out here, right? My opinion will be my opinion. And unless there is some, overwhelming evidence that comes out that she lied about it, or she comes out and says, well, he didn't do that. I was lying. I was fabricating. Unless something like that comes out, I'm just going to be honest with you, bro. It's not going to look good for him, man. I find it very hard to believe he walks away from this without doing any jail time. I do believe the main event will get scrapped on this card. And I do believe that they will possibly elevate one of the other fights, whether it be Boots. Probably Boots may be elevated to the main event. Whatever. I don't think the whole card's going to be scrapped. I was reading an article on Boxing Scene where they were kind of suggesting that the card's going to go on, but they didn't make any confirmation whether or not the Tank fight was going to be pulled or not. But the way they're dragging their feet on this and the way they acted so quickly to the Rolly Romero situation, it just really shows you that it's all about money in this sport, and it's always going to be about money in this sport. Like I told you before, man, there some fight cards are too big to fail, or based on the situation, they need some revenue over there in Showtime. They first of all, they lost the Charlo fight. They're not going to just lose this card too. They got to put some. They got to do something to keep their schedule going here. Can't just keep canceling the whole card. Total fight cards. They got to have something on their schedule, right? They got to have something on their schedule. So they're dealing with a lot of slim pickings here, and they got a lot of work to do in 2023, man. Yeah, I agree that they are on life support, if I'm being honest. They are on life support, if I'm being honest. All right, guys, that's about all I got for now, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you tune into the Ringside Reporter podcast every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be back this Sunday. And shout out to Maestro Eye Boxing in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. One of my good friends here on YouTube, one of my partners here on YouTube. Make sure you check out his channel, subscribe to his channel, support his channel, sign up for a membership over there. Whatever you can do to help out, not just me, but everybody who's in this YouTube game. Do what you can, man, because a lot of people on there give up their time. We don't. A lot of us come on here, we after doing research. We put together topics, and we put together shows. We're asking people to come on and do collaborations with us. So we're putting a lot of time and effort into this behind the scenes. So anything that you could do to support us, whether it be tweeting out the video, super chats, anything, it'd be greatly appreciated. All right, until next time, Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. And also make sure you check out the roundtable, obviously, every Thursday. We did it Wednesday this week because we had some stuff come up. But yeah, make sure you check us out every Thursday. It's going to be on D-Style's channel next week. We changed the time to 7 o'clock. So make sure you check out D-Style Boxing. Make sure you check out the roundtable every Thursday, and make sure you check out D-Style Boxing's channel as well. My brother here on YouTube. All right, peace out, everyone. Have a great day, man. Stay safe. And remember, man, the court of public opinion is not the same as the official court in a judicial system. So don't ever be afraid to have your opinion. Don't anyone ever let anyone ever tell you that you're not letting the process play out, because that's a straw man argument. You can look at the evidence just like a juror would, and you can have your opinion as well. Don't be pressured into not giving an opinion, and don't be bullied into not giving an opinion because you're concerned about the negative backlash you're going to get. Fuck that. Freedom of speech, man. We got to stop with this fucking censorship here on YouTube and Twitter and all these fucking social media networks, man. Fuck it. All right, Beeb is out. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.